What makes the last scene good? Why do we care? Today I will attempt to answer those questions by using the Hatchet Field trilogy. But first, I need to tell you about its creators. StarKid began as a group of college students who created a Harry Potter musical. They posted it to YouTube in 2009 and it went viral. Some of the actors even went on to have massive careers, such as Darren Cross, who starred in Glee. StarKid made 2 sequels to a Harry Potter musical before moving on to parody other works like Aladdin, Star Wars, and Batman. The first change came in 2014 when they created Charlotte, Oregon, a show with a fully original plot. Another original show, Firebringer, tells of cave women finding fire and includes a character named Chorn. Chorn began as a running joke character who just said Chorn before revealing themselves to be an alien sent to scoop out Earth. This element was a forerunner to the essential world building in the Hatchet Field trilogy. Before getting into the guy who didn't like musicals, I should explain what is in the Hatchet Field universe. Beyond these 3 musicals, there are 12 short stories called Nightmare Times. They were posted to Zoom during COVID. I will ignore them as much as possible, but some elements are necessary for the 3rd musical. But without further ado, our protagonist and titular character, Paul, is just a regular guy, works a decent job, has coworkers he tolerates, and seems a little sad always. It's kind of depressing. The other main character is Emma, a barista at a small-town singing coffee shop that she hates, whose only real goal is to become a pot farmer. There are a ton more characters, but none of them matter for the last scene except for the fact that they all go to see Mamma Mia in an opera house that gets hit by an asteroid. In the morning, Paul sees some of the people he saw yesterday, but now they're happy and singing. A similar thing happens when his boss calls him in. Panicked, Paul heads to the one person who shares the same dislike of songs, Emma. With Emma, they see fellow baristas poison the customers. Emma and Paul barely make it out alive. After that, nothing super noteworthy happens, other than showing that the people infected by songs retain some of their body's personality while being controlled, and showing that the infected are, for all intents and purposes, immortal. The next important thing is when the non-infected, now just Paul and Emma, realize that the asteroid that crashed into the opera house Mamma Mia played in, if blown up, could kill all the infected. Paul then goes on his own with explosives while having the recently injured Emma go to Clivesdale where she'll be safe. When Paul reaches the opera house, his friends are circling around trying to convince him to sing, but he pushes through it enough to set off the bomb, starting off our first last scene. We start in Clivesdale hearing that Hatchet Field did in fact blow up. Then we see Emma walking out talking to a new character called Colonel Schaefer about Emma getting a new name and going to Colorado where she can plant pot. Colonel Schaefer says that Emma will be taken to Colorado by a Ben Bridges. When Ben walks out, we see that it's Paul and all is happy. But then he starts to sing. In the song, we see other infected characters from Hatchet Field, which insinuates that they're all immortal and will eventually take over the world. There is even a little more fun because when the cast is bowing, Emma is looking to the audience for help, but they're just clapping. This is easily my second, if not my favorite ending of the 3. It gives you just the right amount of knowledge without saying it outright, and it doesn't hurt that the song is legitimately really good. The final song is a hodgepodge of all of the rest of the songs in the show, which are also really good. I also love that it starts happy and then becomes darker, something that will become a staple in these 3 works. We start with the main characters from the last one, not singing, driving to Emma's brother-in-law's house, hoping to talk to him about her dead sister and his dead wife. But they end up just being there to watch his son while the brother-in-law, Tom, gets his son a Wiggly doll. Wiggly is a new craze that everyone wants and will be entering stores on Black Friday, a day from now. The next important thing that happens is we see an employee of the biggest toy shop in Hatchet Field named Lex steal a Wiggly doll so she, her boyfriend, and her sister can escape her terrible mother. The person who matters here is the sister, Hannah. Hannah has the power to talk to someone called Webby, who I'll explain a tiny bit more about in a while, but right now just connects Hannah to all of the magical stuff in the show, lets her see the future, and makes her apprehensive of Wiggly, which we learn very fair. After that, we see a kind of war start around the toy shop when there are too many customers to get all the Wigglies, which eventually morphs into a full-blown cult around Wiggly. The cult in the Wiggly Mania gets big enough to get the attention of the President of the United States, who even starts fighting with other politicians over a Wiggly doll. That only ends when General Nakamura, from the guy who didn't like musicals, shoots the doll and explains that Wiggly is a kind of eldritch abomination that comes from a place called the Black and White, which he happens to have a portal to. The president decides to enter and learns from a herald that not only did Wiggly come basically from capitalism, but also scares the president so much that he nukes the portal. That was exactly what Wiggly wanted to do because suddenly a nuke appeared in a similar portal in Moscow, potentially starting World War III. Meanwhile, the Wiggly cult is destroying so much that our main characters light the toy store on fire just to end it all, starting the middle last scene. We start with Emma and Paul in the parking lot, leaving Tom's son in the car because the actress was too busy dying in the last scene. They meet with Tom, Hannah, and Lex. Emma and Paul say that they came because they heard on the news that World War III might be happening, and Emma suggests that they could just go to her old teacher's house, which is basically an apocalypse bunker. Tom says he's ready to talk about his dead wife with Emma, and all seems happy, until Hannah has a premonition that something bad is about to happen. She sings a song with really confusing lyrics, and something does probably happen. The artistic intent is that they get nuked, but it's left up to interpretation. I personally don't like that and prefer endings where it makes sense and tell me everything I need to know. But this is still very solid. The song is decent, but nothing too special, and in the end, it's the worse than the other two endings, but still good. Nerdy proof must die! Nerdy proof must die! We start with the character we care about, Grace Chastity, telling on some random people they don't matter, so just forget about them. This shows that Grace is a goody two-shoes. To show Grace's personality in different parts of the show, I will be using the D&D alignment chart. At this point, Grace is a lawful good, a little bit annoying, but following the letter of the law. The next important scene is seeing how terrified everyone is of the school bully, Max Eagerman. After meeting Max, we promptly meet the third most important person, Jason. He's kind of a crony to Max. Jason tries to make fun of Grace, but Max gets upset because he wants to sleep with Grace. Grace, when she hears that, promptly turns down Max, saying that the only man for her is Jesus Christ. After that, Grace is in the bath, and a scene is acted out. I feel like this video is already a little spacey, so just look at the clips on screen, make a guess of what's happening, and remember that it's fancy. After that, Grace is really upset at Max, but more at herself, so she teams up with other people who also have a grudge against Max, I think. He hasn't done anything that bad to them, so they're kinda overreacting, but I guess it's good for Grace to have some help. The group makes a plan to scare Max on camera so he'll be made fun of at school, and Grace will stop thinking he's hot. Their plan is to scare him in an abandoned house and pretend it's haunted but has skeletons, bean school, and ghosts, which kinda works. They get Max believing that they're real and get scared, but then he decides to face his fears and fight all of the fake monsters. Max even ends up being thankful of the group and thinking they're really cool and fun. Even though it didn't go as planned, Max likes the people who don't matter, and is less sexy to Grace, hopefully. Before they can leave though, because it is an abandoned house, Max falls through the floor and dies, but not before saying the name of the show, Nerdy Prudes Must Die. Up to now, Grace has stayed lawful good, but here is where she takes a stark turn. By turning into, my opinion, true lawful, because if there was no magic in the story, what she did is fully positive, and what she is about to do would also be completely good. Grace suggests while the group is panicking that they should cut up Max's body and hide it in the floor, because no one ever wants to buy the house, so no one will ever find his body. The people who don't matter reluctantly agree, and a week later they feel bad, but Grace is happy because when Max died, he was not attractive. Then we have a song that includes the return of my boy, Jason. He became a lot nicer after Max died. But all good must come to an end when Max comes back as a superpowered ghost. Ghost Max sings a song called Nerdy Prudes Must Die, in which he kills this guy. Rest in peace, I think. After that, Grace learns that the abandoned house won't be abandoned for much longer. Grace tries to tell that to less important people before getting called into a principal's office where they find the police. They believe that the cops are talking about Max until they learn that the law enforcement are talking about the dude who was killed during the song, who might have been friends with Grace. Everyone starts to panic again, but Grace has an idea. So Grace plans to just lie to the cops and say she saw people
Jesus Christ!
Clivesdale sneak into the house. Sadly, the officers had an item of Grace's that she lost while burying Max. After that, she is asked why she's doing this and if someone else made the plan, at which point she breaks, steals a gun, and calls God a son of a bitch. Now she has lied to the cops and stole a gun, ran from the police, which, in my opinion, changes her from true lawful to debatably chaotic evil. But I would maybe still say lawful evil. It's still continuing to get more complex, though. After that, she meets up with the forgettable people and learns that another one of them died. Oh no? Fast forwarding a little bit, they get a book from the mayor, who is also a useless's dad. Before I can explain more, I need to talk about Hatchet Field. We learn in Nightmare Times that long ago Hatchet Field had a cult called the Cult of the Starry Children. They worship gods called the Lords in Black. Most notably, there was one called Wiglogirath, who was clearly the real form of Wiggly. Also, Webby, Hannah's friend back in Black Friday, is sister to the Lords in Black. But now, back to the show. Grace and the others summon the Lords in Black. The Lords in Black say they will get rid of Max, but only if the three give up something they care about the most. The stupid, not necessary people believe that that means that one of them must kill the other or something. It doesn't matter, because it's obviously wrong. Grace is the only one who matters, so she clearly swoops in and just sleeps with Max. Since chastity is the thing she cares about the most, the Lords in Black promptly take away Max and the day is saved, finally reaching our last scene. First, there are some weird scenes though, where some people I have never seen in my life dance together. I'm confused as you of why this scene is here, other than maybe for Grace to say she's going on a date with good old Jason. We begin the last scene at the end of Grace's date with Jason. Jason is apologizing for being mean to her back when Max was alive, showing just how great of a person he is. But he makes a fatal mistake when he kisses Grace on the cheek. It's even consensual, but Grace now has her proof and starts to sing a parody of the song Nerdy Prudes Must Die, Dirty Dudes Must Die, which is a reference to the song Grace sung in her fantasy called Dirty Girl. Now I will go back to fully ignoring that scene ever happened. We can insinuate from that last scene that she is now constantly using the Lords in Black to kill dudes she considers dirty. Going back to the D&D chart, she's basically now just true evil, mostly due to the fact that, according to the rest of the show, the crimes that will make her kill are not limited to kissing on the cheek and carrying someone else's books. Nerdy Fruits Must Die is very fun. It also has my favorite ending and the funniest jokes of any Star Kid shows. This last scene is by far the shortest scene of the three, but it caught me off guard so much when I was watching it the first time. And the idea is just really funny that this already insane person gets power hungry and tries to kill anyone who does anything close to PDA. It's just funny. So there was supposed to only be one last scene, not three. However, this discussion would be incomplete without focusing on all three. The way these three shows end are examples of how most things can end. Do you want an ending where you know what will happen? You get that from the guy who didn't like musicals. Do you want to be able to draw your own conclusions? Black Friday has you covered. Do you want references to everything you just saw, almost like it's testing your knowledge? Gotta go with Nerdy Prudes Must Die. The list is endless. And what else do you want a playlist about ends than directly comparing how different endings function? Thank you so much for watching. I would highly recommend you watch the 3 musicals I talked about in this. They are free on YouTube. I would also like to send a huge thanks to Nando for making this playlist. I am hopeful someone else will take it up in 2024. Speaking of the playlist, it is on screen now so you can watch other amazing creators take on this prompt. At the time this is posted, this is the only thing on my channel, but that will change and maybe it already has. But with nothing else to say, be cool and goodbye.